This is Nebraska Farmcast, a production of the Center for Agricultural Profitability at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I'm Ryan Evans. When Nebraskans inherit land or property, they must pay inheritance taxes to the county where the property is located. LB 310, just recently signed into state law, reduces most inheritance taxes beginning in 2023. With me to discuss these changes is Dave Aiken, an extension water law and agricultural law specialist here at UNL. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Ryan, how are you?
Great, thank you. And how are you?
Good.
Well, thanks for joining me. So we pay county inheritance taxes when we inherit property in Nebraska, as we mentioned, right?
That's right. But there are two important exceptions. The first one is one that's been around for a long time, and that's for the surviving spouse. They don't have to pay inheritance taxes on anything. And then beginning in 2023, anyone under the age of 22 also pays no inheritance tax. And that last provision was part of LB 310, introduced by Senator Robert Clements of Elmwood.
So how do inheritance taxes work in the state?
Well, basically, it depends on how closely the person receiving the inheritance was to the person that died. That is, the person who left the inheritance. The closer family members pay the lowest inheritance taxes, and then more remote family members pay a higher one, and then everybody else who might receive an inheritance pays the highest inheritance tax.
So how is this modified by LB 310?
Well, basically, LB 310 raises the amount of property that's exempt from inheritance taxes and lowers the tax rate on the property that is taxed.
So who are the relatives that are closest to the person who died?
Okay, this would be brothers and sisters, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and then all of their spouses. Adopted children are treated as natural children for the purposes of inheritance taxes.
And what do these relatives pay on inheritances?
Well, currently, the first $40,000 of the inheritance is not taxed. Anything above $40,000 in value is subject to a 1% inheritance tax.
And how is this changed by LB 310?
Okay. The exempt amount increases from $40,000 to $100,000 effective January 1st, 2023. But the tax rate stays the same at 1%.
So we mentioned relatives who are closest to the person who died, who are considered as the more distant relatives.
Aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, their descendants, and their spouses.
And so what do these relatives pay on inheritances then?
Well, currently, the first $15,000 of the inheritance is not taxed. Anything above the $15,000 in value is subject to a 13% inheritance tax.
And will that also be changed by LB 310?
Yes. The exempt amount is increased from the $15,000 to $40,000, and the inheritance tax rate is reduced from 13% to 11% effective 2023.
And who are the remaining persons then receiving inheritances?
Well, basically anybody else. This could be a neighbor, an employee, a friend, whoever it might be.
So then what would that group, how would that group be affected by LB 310?
Okay, under current law, the first $10,000 is not taxed, and everything above $10,000 is subject to an 18% inheritance tax.
And how would that be changed?
Okay, the exempt amount is increased from $10,000 to $25,000, and the tax rate is reduced from 18% to 15%. Again, taking effect January 1st, 2023.
And how is inheritance tax paid?
Well, basically, this is all part of the estate settlement process. So the attorney that's working on, moving the estate settlement from beginning to end will be, will carry the load of the burden in this. But basically, the inheritance taxes are paid to the county or counties where the inherited property is located. All the inherited property will have to be valued so that the amount of inheritance taxes due can be determined, and then the tax has to be paid before the property can be inherited.
All right. Well, that's Dave Aiken, an extension water law and agricultural law specialist here at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And you can find a transcript of this conversation on our Center for Ag Profitability website at cap.unl.edu. Dave, great information today again. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Ryan.
Nebraska Farmcast is a production of the Center for Agricultural Profitability at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. For the latest research-based information and education resources to manage your farm or ranch operation, visit our website at cap.unl.edu. That's cap.unl.edu.